Ling. Yes, recording in progress. Okay, so what did we talk about last week? No. Daddy will know. Before we talk about what we talked about last week, let's make sure that we create a positive intention for being here. Yes, very important. Because intention is the seed hmm, of our actions, of body, of speech, but also of mind. Because people think that, oh, no, the mind is the intention. No. I can have an intention, but then I can have a thought, right? Based on that intention about something that I would like to do with that intention. Does it make sense what I'm saying? So it's important that we understand that the intention is something that is always present in every moment. Hmm? Every moment, there is an intention. It doesn't mean we are aware of it, but it's there. Okay, it's what we call kind of like a it's not permanent. I think it's another translation that they use, like a mental factor, a mental aspect of the mind that is always present. Yes, intention. What happens is that sometimes we are aware, sometimes we're not unaware. We are not aware of it. But even if we are aware of it, most of the time, it doesn't mean that we can control it, right? Actually, sometimes we are aware of it, and we even like that we are having an intention to harm someone, isn't it? There was a one person here once, like when I was here, maybe in July and August, and she said something, but be angry with sometimes is so good. So, that is sometimes the intention we have behind our minds. Really, that wish, right? Do you want another pillow, sweetheart? No? Put some pillow. Yes, just get some pillow. Make yourself very. Yeah, no. Make yourself very comfortable. When I give teachings over there in the monastery in India, in Nepal, when I talk, I mean, especially when we're doing meditation, people are gonna sit down for like maybe 10 days, And I always say to them, make yourself comfortable. And the most important thing for you to make yourself comfortable when you're doing is, of course, the back, but also the knees, right? So people try to sit down and then their knees stay like this, kind of like floating like this. And I say, you're not going to stay for one session like that. And then I say, come on. So I always say the first day, take pillows because there's a lot of pillows. And there's a big monastery, a big gompa, like 150 people in the classes and all of that. And I say, so then you see some people make like kind of like a bunker of kind of like, But I say, great, good, because we need to take care of the body, right? Because the body is in pain. Forget about concentrating on the mind, right? Forget about it. You know that. I know. For different reasons than too much sitting down of meditation, no? But that is the problem, right? It's kind of like if the body is there, then the mind. So that is important for what we are talking about a little bit, because the body sometimes can be an alert for us to check intention. Yes? Because the body is trying to say to us something that is like, because there is a physical tension and something like that. So we can try to look to the intention that is behind that discomfort, because there is a discomfort over there. So maybe actually it's the discomfort. Why? Because I'm trying to be the holy person that I cannot move and I need to be very strict with myself and all of that. Huh? So that is the intention that is actually causing the body to be in pain. Huh? Because then I'm keeping a certain posture. Does it make sense what I'm talking about? Yes?
When you just like are driving around, say you go to get gas in Publix, is there like an intention? You said there's always an intention. Is there an intention other than like I'm gonna, pick up grapefruit or something like?
Yes, definitely there is always an intention. Always, right? I'm going to tell what Lama Zopa Rinpoche once told me when I asked him about, I can't remember actually how we were talking about, but when we drive and there's a lot of bugs sometimes are killed in the windshield. Yes? because we were talking about karma, and today in one of the classes, I can't remember which one, came up these questions about, oh, um, even if I don't have an intention, but I step on a what is the name, ant or mosquito or something like this, and I kill it, am I creating a bad intention? A bad result from this? But there's no intention. I didn't have the intention. And I said, look, yes, you didn't have the intention to kill, right? You didn't have the intention to kill all of those insects when you're driving. However, remember that I say intention is always there, and we are either aware or not aware. And we have talked about it many, many times. If we are not aware, the autopilot who is there, it's an intention that is, I am going to Publix because I need that for me. And it has to be in Publix because the Sprouts is not good enough, Audi is not good enough. They don't have the type of half coffee, then half milk, half of this that I want, that I like. Yes, so it's based on attachment. Hmm? And third is based on believing that whatever I'm gonna get is gonna bring happiness. So if these three components, or in any of them, or some of them in some parts are there, it's already an intention, let's say like this, that is a selfish intention in a way, right?
It's not conscious.
It's not consciousness, right? It's not conscious, but it's there. So how can we do it? We can, before we do anything, we say, oh, okay, so I have a body, I have a mind, and if I use this body and this mind to benefit others, right? To meditate, to contemplate, to change my mind, I can actually go to Publix, get something to eat that is going to nourish this body so I can have the strength of this mind. So if I do kill any animals on the way, or if something happens that is negative, may I be able to help them, right? Then everything that you do becomes a positive intention. Hmm? Everything. So the positive intention means you don't need to change anything in your life. Yeah? You don't need to stop going to Publix. You don't need to stop eating what you're eating. It's about changing the motivation, the intention. Yeah? Rinpoche is very funny because we don't have here. I'm going to ask them to put, because Rinpoche wrote a very nice thing called live with compassion, work with compassion, wake up with compassion, eat with compassion, sleep with compassion, do everything with compassion. That was to say that we can do all of these normal day-to-day things with a completely different mindset, a different intention. Does it make sense? Yes? And these will create the causes not only for my own happiness, as we talked about this week. I can't remember anymore when we talked about, but we're going to talk a little bit today again. Then this creates the cause of my happiness because I'm thinking about others. Therefore, when I make this wish to come up in my mind, I'm happy. Hmm? Yes? Why am I happy when I think about others? Because I'm not thinking about myself, which is the cause of my biggest suffering. When I'm completely obsessed with this, me. So no, completely forget about it. Second, there's no attachment. There's no kind of like negative emotion disturbing me saying, I need this, this is gonna bad, this is good. There's no this, because I'm thinking about others. Yes? There's a compassion, kind, love mentality. And third, there is no believing that something outside is going to bring me happiness because it's just a wish, right? It's just a kind of like, I don't need necessarily to achieve that in order for the experience of happiness, the reward of happiness to be experienced. I already am experiencing the reward, which is a happy mind in that moment, right? As the example that I gave the other day is that, like, you're going in Publix and you see something and you say, this person would be so happy if they could have this. That moment when I just say this, okay? We're not going to go after. Just now, when I say this, that moment when this happens in my mind, I am not thinking about myself. I'm thinking about someone else, right? Bob. Wow, Bob would be so happy if he could have this. Yeah. Right? Debbie. Yes. So boom. Then first thing, I'm not thinking. I'm thinking about Bob. Yeah. So I'm not thinking about myself. Second, I'm not attached or angry or confused or jealous or pride on any of these. I'm actually with that wish of love. Love means wanting someone to be happy. That's the definition of love in Buddhism, right? So wow, Bob, happy, right? Third, I don't have any kind of like I'm not under the idea that oh if I don't have these I'm gonna suffer, right? Or I need to have these or this has the component of happiness, right? Something outside. So here is I don't need the experience to actually be completed. I don't need to buy it. I don't need to do it. I don't need to do any of this because I understand that even if I buy, it's not gonna bring total happiness for him, right? So I don't need that. But what happened? Me, in that moment, happy. Mind uplifted, open. You know? Does it make sense what I'm talking about? Do you guys experience that? Yes? Second moment, yes. And then when I do this, he's going to be very happy. So I need to buy it so he can become happy. And then because I need a favor to ask Bob, so I need him to be very happy so he can give me what I want. Isn't it? Then he starts to be about these things. Then that happiness gone. Again, back to suffering mind. About me, attachment, and believing that if he doesn't like it or he doesn't need, he's not. I am not gonna be happy if he doesn't say thank you or if he doesn't like it. Does it make sense? So now imagine that we keep that mental state all the time, and not only this, but we keep not only about Bob, but about everybody all the time. We will be the happiest people on earth, right?
Yeah.
That's why the Dalai Lama is one of the happiest people on earth. Because he's always thinking about this. He's always in his mind like that. That means that he needs to go and do everything kind of. No, he just does what he can. But his mind is free from the selfishness, from the attachment, from all of these. Therefore, he can actually help more. Because what is impeding us? Impediment? Yeah, impeding. Is stopping us from actually being able to help others. Is what? That mind that thinks, what is in it for me? Where is mine? You know? So, or the mind that is attached, say, oh no, but if I do this, or the fearful mind, yeah? The attached mind. Does it make sense? So that is very important. So the reason is not that we have to develop positive emotions. It's not that we have to develop positive intentions. Because we want to. Otherwise, we start with these, with all due respect to my psychologist here present. Anyone else is a psychologist? No? So, that we have the positive psychology. Just think positive. No, but no. Just think positive. No. Just think positive. Why? How? Right? We're starting a little bit like that sometimes. No, you should just, you're just not seeing the positive side of everything. Why should I see it? It's hurting here, right? Because I don't explain how that mind actually creates happiness for you and creates the absence of suffering. Does it make sense? Or I go into the new age thing of these, of like, yeah, no, everything's cool, no, everything's okay, la la la, happy, like this. No, how Buddhism is a scientific approach, is approaching by the base of understanding the mechanics of the mind. It needs to make sense, logic, rational. Yes? There's no blind faith. That's not because the monk said, please don't, right? actually understand and then try. Apply in your mind and check and say, that's true. When I am able to keep, even if for a second, an intention, a positive intention, an intention that is about others, an altruistic intention, an intention that is free from attachment, from all of these negative emotions, and it's full of compassion, of love, I'm happy. Does it make sense what I'm talking about? Yes? So that is the reason why intention is so important. And that's why I say that, and that's why I say that if people would hear that, especially people that study Buddhism for so many years, they would kick me out because I make it so simple. Just say it's actually a change of intention, the Buddhist path. Yeah, a transformation. Remember, the name of this course is called Inner. This class is Inner Transformation. What is the inner thing that actually we are trying to transform? The intention. Because if we transform the intention, remember, intention brings about movements or actions of body, speech, and mind. And these actions of body, speech, and mind creates results or experiences, right? So actually, intention is the creator of our experiences. So if we want to have a happy experience, we need to have a happy intention, a positive intention. Yes? So that is the transformation that we are trying to do. So that is what the entire Buddhist path is about. Is about transforming more and more and more these positive intentions until they are second nature. Because right now, the autopilot, which was, is the negative intention. But what else? What is that? Oh, just understanding the negative intentions, how they are negative, how they don't help me, blah, 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 is going to be enough. No way. Because of the habits. Wow, so strong. That's why autopilot, they are automatic, right? Am I pronouncing it correctly? Autopilot, yeah. Automatic. Yeah. I started because I was saying automatic. And then I said, no. Here in America, we say automatic. Yeah? Everything is automatic. Right? So it's kind of like that is the way it's happening now. So we're just going to say, oh, no, I shouldn't be thinking like this. Good luck. So what is the path in itself? It's a replacing. Yes? Exchanging. Yes? One negative intention for a positive one. So I need recognize, understand, see the negative aspects of the negative ones, and I need to learn, understand what are positive ones. Because as we talked about on Sunday, you were here on Sunday? Yes. You didn't come. You came. Sunday? No. Oh, you were online. Yes, because I remember. I think I remember you. You didn't. So we talked on Sunday about the contamination of positive emotions, right? That's why it's so important that we understand so we don't go, with all due respect again, into the positive psychology or the whole the kumbaya new age, right? Because we can say, oh yes, Kalden is saying that then I need to be more compassionate and more kind and all of that. So I start hugging everybody. And I think that this is being compassionate. Or I start to say, yes, oh yeah, yes. Or I start to be, oh no, I speak slowly and I walk slow and I'm, I feel that this is the transformation. Stupid. This is stupid way of thinking, right? Because it's not that is going to transform the intention. Those actions, they don't have in themselves any quality of good or bad. Speaking slowly or calm or no, doesn't mean that you're having a good intention. You can be doing that to make someone crazy, right? Or to harm someone, isn't it? You can give a hug to someone, not because you have a good intention as well, isn't it? We all receive sometimes hugs that are a little bit like, what is in that? Yeah? Yes? You know what I'm talking about? So the actions of the body and the actions of the speech, they are not the creators of something. They are the results of what? Of the intention. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's so important that we understand the essence of it. Otherwise, as we said on Sunday, oh yes, I'm gonna be kind of like thinking that compassion or generosity, we talked so much about it, is giving food to someone. I'm being generous. What it makes it that action generous or not? Hmm? You mean the intention, right? It's that's gonna one is gonna make that. It's not the action in itself. Hmm? The action in itself is a result of the intention. So if the intention is, oh, I want people to like me or to see how amazing I am, how kind, how generous, how this, guess what? You don't even care about the person. Hmm? In your mind, you're creating this entire story of like, oh my God, this poor person, I really want to help them. Oh no, this, no, no, no. But then you can see that there is a manipulation that is like you're only gonna give in the moment that there is someone around, right? Yeah. Or there is someone maybe, oh, can we take a picture together? You know, it's not like this. There's always that contamination. Because this is habit. It's not because we are like bad people, right? We are not bad people. We are not bad people. We are just confused. We are believing that doing this with this intention of see how I am a good person, it's actually going to bring me happiness. Hmm? So I'm putting my happiness in front of that person, even though I'm believing that giving the food or the money to this person is bigger than anything, right? So that mental state of thinking about me and about how people are going to think about me and what they're going to, these are the cause of our suffering. Because we believe that whatever people are going to say, whatever people are going to think, whatever these, they have a component that brings us happiness, that delivers us happiness. No? Yes? So, I got lost. Yes? Okay. Yes, you had a question a long time. I'm so sorry, sweetheart.
That's okay. It goes back to the animals.
Okay.
So living in Florida, we have termites
Termites.
and we have little ants.
Yes.
So before I came here today, I
Mhm.
went to my very good friend's home to help him empty out his home. Because tomorrow he has to have his house tented
Yes.
because he has termite infestations.
Okay.
I couldn't
So what
say
time is gonna be?
tomorrow?
Yeah.
At 8:30 in the morning.
So 7:30 we go over there, do puja, prayers for the termites. Yes.
And that's my point. I mean, I can't say to him,
I'm
I'm
not
not
kidding.
going to help you. Or we also have the problem that in our homes we have little insects, you know, and they swarm in our homes, not just termites.
Yeah.
And
I
we
completely
don't want to
understand.
live with these little insects.
I know. I totally understand. I completely
So
understand.
what do we do?
We do our best.
Okay. I'm asking.
I know, and I totally understand. We really do our best, right? We are not there yet where we can go to the extreme or the story of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. I don't know, maybe you guys know already, but maybe you didn't have. Lama Zopa Rinpoche, my teacher. When he was like maybe 20 years ago or more, no, 30 years ago, he was in Nepal, right? So he wanted to go and receive these teachings from this very important teacher. And this teacher lived in the middle of nowhere, right? In Nepal, they have what we call the wet season. So it's kind of like, the monsoon.
Yeah.
So raining. And that time, mosquitoes, a lot. Hmm? So he was with his assistant, Venerable Roger, Australian monk, very, very nice person. And they went to this house in the middle of nowhere. So, and it started to become late, of course, because Rinpoche used to talk and do things a long time. So the person invite them to stay. So there was only one room with 2 beds. Yes? And Lama Zopa Rinpoche, he, from since I think he was 20 years old, he didn't lay down to sleep. He would just stay in meditation posture and really never sleep. He would do prayers, he would do meditation, he would do all of these incredible things, answer letters from people that would ask him questions, Like there was always someone, Roger would kind of like go to sleep and someone would come to stay with Rinpoche during the night doing whatever Rinpoche would need, right? So then they were there, and then Roger was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna have to lay down." And then I don't want to sit there. Oh no, because Rinpoche, And then he was just too tired. And then he lay down, and then he woke up in the middle of the night, and Rinpoche had the tonga down, and even these out, because it was very hot, and he was full of mosquitoes, right? And then Roger said, Rinpoche. And then he said, don't worry, I'm offering my blood to the mosquitoes. This is an extreme in our minds. We can even see a bit, wow, this is too extreme. But to Rinpoche, zero pain, zero suffering, zero nothing. Very happy to be able to do this. So that is like what we can aspire to achieve, right? But if we can't, the best we can do is to try to minimize as much as possible the suffering that we can cause. And truly, you thought that I was kidding, so we can pray for them, but we can really pray saying, that may we use this house now to benefit others, because now it's going to be free and I'm going to be able to live here. And all of these beings that are being killed, may I in my future lives be able to help them. And that's it. That's what we can do. Yeah. But yeah, it's true. Some places, there was a Dharma center that was infected, infested with mice.
Another problem.
Europe, Europe for sure. Europe, there's a lot of mice sometimes. So they didn't know what to do, and the health and safety, something like that, department said, we're gonna have to close the center, right? Because it's becoming a threat. So then they had to come to a conclusion, right? And say, is it beneficial? Can we move? Can we find? It was impossible, everything. They had this place for so long and like it's a beautiful place, all of these situations. And then, they said, and then Rinpoche said, it's more beneficial right now to continue the center because the center brings a lot of benefit for others. So, but then you do prayers for the mice. You try to make it as, So they started to create. Before they doing this, they try to do these very kind of like traps that don't kill them, right? Just kind of like
Right.
You just take them and then they would go and release them and all of that. So they tried their best, but then yes, they had to do what they had to do. Yeah, we just try our best. Does it make sense?
Yes.
In that way. So the most important is the intention.
Yeah.
Right? Is that intention that we really want to help those beings. We really want to try to help that situation. Yeah. So we do. Yes.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Like eating meat.
Mhm.
I'm also from Brazil, so I'm very carnivorous, and I feel remorse when I do it, but I continue. My action continues
Yes.
to be eating meat.
Yeah.
So if the action doesn't match the intention, then
So
it would also be wrong.
well,
I don't know if it's right or wrong. It's
yes,
like,
good. Because there's no that idea of right or wrong.
Right.
There's only cause and effect. So that means
then
you are creating a cause, right? So for something that is not necessarily positive for you and for others, right? So this is the first thing. But the intention is it's not about just having the mindset and the intention once. Because as I say, the autopilot is just so strong, right? But with reasoning, analysis, we can develop the mind that is going to be strong enough to transform it. So, but for example, the same thing, the Dalai Lama eats meat. Many people don't know that because of health reasons, right? Because he walked from Tibet to India, and at some point he kind of like got contaminated with parasites or something like that, with the waters and contaminations and all of that. So he has a problem with retaining, I think, iron or something like this. So they tried to give tablets and all of that, but it didn't work because it's like fake iron, let's say like that, right? It's just like, but it's not coming from source. So his doctor said, you really need to eat meat. So he said, okay, first thing is, I'm going to do that or not. I'm just going to then let my body deteriorate. Then people said, please don't, His Holiness, you're too important, right? You benefit too many people. Your life, your presence, your teachings, your behaviors, your example. So then out of these, he came to the conclusion that it was beneficial for him to still continue having a healthy body, right? So, but then he said, okay, so what can I do to mitigate? Yeah. So the doctor said, you need to eat 5 days a week. And then he said, okay, I'm going to have 2. Right? So at least 2. Third, I'm going to make strong prayers for these animals. So his prayers are really special because he's the 14th Dalai Lama, so he came back 14 times as a recognized reincarnation, right? It's a very good movie called Kundun, Kundun. Yeah, it's Martin Scorsese. Scorsese, yeah, good movie. So very good movie. Old movie, huh? It's like being the 80s, I think, but absolutely talks about how he was recognized. So it talks a little bit about that. And so he said, I'm going to pray so that in future lives, may I be able to help all of these animals, all of these beings that gave, their lives so I could become, continue strong in this life. That's what we can do. So I think that is the magic of it. Normally, why it is difficult is because the habit of especially believing that the meat contains an ingredient of deliciousness and pleasure. Yeah, because we are junkies of pleasurable experiences. So that's what we are trying. So today I had fake burger, veggie burger, right? There's a very good one now in Publix. It's a no, not impossible. It's called I'm gonna plant something. It's very good. Doctor something. I can't remember what it is. Then I'd say, hey, this exactly like meat. If that is the pleasure that it gives, that you're looking for, you need to also kind of like analyze a little bit, and then and it has 20 grams of protein. It's actually sometimes more than a meat itself. So it's just that. If the intention is there, we find a way. It takes time. Yes. It is easy. No. Right? But with time, with intention, and nourishing that intention again and again and again and again. So what helps us to nourish these intentions? Conditions. The same way, right? That a seed, an apple seed has the intention to become an apple tree. Has the intention in the sense that it doesn't have any intention because it doesn't think in this way because there's no consciousness, but has the potential, let's say like this, right? So us, if we create conditions like coming here, looking to this, thinking about these things, reading a book, discussing, or going to some kind of like, more things that helps us, our minds to be positive, not looking into negative things, then the mind starts to create those conditions for that intention to succeed. Does it make sense what I'm saying? So also it's important that not only to try to look at intention, but to look at the conditions we are coming about. Because yes, I have intention to have roses, but if I don't have, right, the conditions, if I don't have soil, if I don't have water, if I don't have sun, if I don't have that, doesn't matter. Whatever the intention it might be, right? I cannot. Okay, I have an intention to have flowers, and I put here the seed. Yeah, and I just keep it in my mind. Wow, I have an amazing seed of flowers in my hand. Some people are gonna say you are completely nuts, right? Those people are gonna say. But it's exactly what we do with other things. Oh, I really want to kind of do this and all of that. Are you creating the cause for that? Are you creating the conditions? The cause may be there, the intention. I really want to win the lottery, right? And I don't buy the ticket. So, right? I really want to learn French. Did you sign up for a course, right? Did you kind of do something about it? Did you go to France and live there, or did you do something? Does it make sense what I'm saying? But we don't think like this. Or we experience, or we say, oh yes, because this person, why this person? I don't understand. This person didn't say thank you to me or anything like that. Da, da, da. Did they have that kind of in their minds created that? Did you create the conditions? You'd say to them, look, it's good that do you know how they were behave? They were kind of how I would say, not behave, educated, well, how they were being raised, You don't know. So why do you think that because you're giving something, then they have to say thank you? Or because the polite thing to say, they don't even know maybe what polite means. Especially if you go to another country. That's why traveling in a way helps a lot. Because then it gives us a completely different idea about what is right or wrong and how these things are not so fixed. Does it make sense? Yes? So it's not only about the intention, but creating the conditions. And the conditions right now, we are extremely influenced by them. Extremely. No, easy to see that if someone has if you go to the AA meetings, the Alcoholics Anonymous, if you have one of the first things they're going to say to you is don't put yourself in situations that have alcohol and all of that. Why? Because the mind, the conditions, the mind's too weak with the intention. Does it make sense?
Is the intention also help to create conditions?
The intention, if it will help to create the conditions, because if I want that, right? I want alcohol, or I see the alcohol is the source of my happiness, right? So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try to go to the supermarket and go to and get alcohol, right? Yeah.
The definition of intention and creating the condition is called manipulation.
Yes, we are manipulating oneself, isn't it?
We're manipulating the circumstance.
The circumstance to do what? To fulfill our intention.
Right.
Very good. That's a very good. It's true. Is that what we are doing? We are creating the manipulation of the circumstances, outside circumstances that can be either good or bad or have everything, but we are manipulating to fulfill that need, that intention that we have. And normally that intention, the way it is today, is selfish. It's coming from an attachment, an aversion, or something like this. And it's with that wrong belief that there is a component of whatever it is that we are believing that we need or we don't need, which is coming from the object, the situation, the alcohol, the whatever it is, right? That is very important. We talked about that last week, remember? The idea of the component. It is there.
Absolutely.
Delivering to us happiness, right? As if okay, oh, if I don't have the something, then I don't have happiness. Happiness not delivered to me. What is very common now in Christmas here in America?
Excuse me?
Sweets that are they're very common. Panettone, do you have that panettone? No?
Yeah, the cake.
The cake. What else is very kind of what is a dessert that we have in Christmas normally?
Everything.
Everything.
I mean, seriously.
Really? Is that like a
Off the
pie and things like that?
off
Yeah.
the chart.
Because in Brazil we have what they call rabanada, right? Which is kind of like bread. It's like a piece of bread, and then they put it in milk and flour, and then they fry, and then it's like very fatty and all of that, and then you put sugar and cinnamon on top, So you only have that in Christmas,
Candy cane.
or no gingerbread, ginger cake or ginger.
And candy
No?
canes. You only have candy canes at Christmas.
Oh, really? Okay. So, and then, all of these is kind of like the mind really creating the belief that these things, they have deliciousness, happiness as a component of them, right? It's easy to see. It's easy to see. It's easy to see that we believe in that, but it's hard to see that is our minds inputting that component into it.
Right.
It's not an ingredient. If you read it, there's no there. Brings happiness. It doesn't have that. Because if it had, then guess what? More we eat, happier we become. Every time we eat it, we always need to find, deliver, or experience happiness. And third, everybody that eats would have to have the same experience. And guess what? I'm sure there's people that don't like candy cans. Candy cans. So it's not there. But each of us individually, we are creating those completely illusory ideas and needs. Completely illusion. Completely. It doesn't exist at all like that. It doesn't exist in anything. It doesn't exist in the flower. It doesn't exist in the person we like. It doesn't exist in the job. It doesn't exist in the phone. It doesn't exist in the computer. It doesn't exist in the Netflix series we love. It doesn't exist nowhere, because it's a mental. It's a mental classification and a mental input that we are putting. So how can something that doesn't have it bring and deliver to us? No? Something physical that doesn't have as a component happiness, give to us a mental component. Does it make sense what I'm trying to say? I like your face. You're having a good face of like, yes. Yeah. So it's important that we understand that, because that is what is going to make us stop looking for and acting and having the intention to fulfill this. Cut, literally, the autopilot. This is the basis of the autopilot. Does it make sense? So we need to understand this. We need to train, practice, really see how things are. Things don't have those components. There's no component of beauty in the flower. There is a seed that had the conditions of moisture and sun and water and all of that. That created that flower, right? That created that thing. And then I put it the label flower. Huh? But not even the component flower. We're gonna go even a little bit deeper here. Even the component flower doesn't exist in the flower. No.
Because it's a label.
What of these species? I don't want to do this, but what of these species is the flower? If I take this out, Am I taking the component flower? Or is because these stem, leaf petals coming together needs a name, needs a label. For all of us here, when I show to you, to say, this is called flower. But there's no flower in here. There's no component of flower. In the same way, there's no component of petals in the petals. There's no component of stem in the stem. There's no component of, let's say, what is this? Leaves. Leaves in the leaves. Doesn't make sense what I'm trying to say. Component means, in that case, something a quality, a fixed or attribute, or the word we use, but I'm trying not to use that word, inherent component, meaning there's something that I can pinpoint in all of these things that it is a flower in itself. It's just the component, the parts coming together, yes, needs a name for us to work in our lives with it. Yes? So we give it a name, flower. And guess what? All of these components, they are all of these parts that makes the flower, they are also dependent on cause and conditions. What does it mean? If I take out for the water, instead of these becoming a flower, it becomes dead flower. So the components, the parts, changed because they are in the nature of changing, yes? And they became dead flower. That's the new name I give to this. But there is actually an actual flower that died. No, it was just these conditions, yes, and that name, and then I just changed. So now my question to you is, what is the difference between these and our bodies and our lives? No different, right? No different. We are sperm and egg coming together. Yes? A lot of food, a lot of these makes the body. The body is totally impermanent. When we are young, we call that body baby. When we are a teenager, adult, old person, corpse. Yes? Just names for something that is just changing. Just like here, right? But it appears so like a real component, right? The mind now. Same. There is a mind which is made of what? The previous moment influences the present moment that will influence the next moment. Do we have a continuity in the sense of, like, we wake up in a certain mood and we stay in this old mood the entire day? No way. We have a roller coaster of emotions, isn't it? So, mind, nothing more than previous moments, memories, all of these things that happened, right? Changing also. Then, present moment, happening, creating more situations, experiences, future, happening after, influenced by that. So, where is this soul? What in the mind, or what in the body, or what is that self, that me, that appears as a component of these two things? Yes, does it make sense? I don't know why I'm going like this with you guys, but I'm just talking about the most subtle topic of Buddhism. You two are very good. good karma, right? So really, it's just there's no. So why we get so pissed off when someone says, "Oh, you are very ugly"? It's just words that that person is imputing. Yeah, that person's mind is imputing is is kind of like a putting a component in me that doesn't exist at all. When I'm putting a component of beauty in the flower, does it make any difference to the flower? Zero. The flower doesn't change, doesn't become beautiful. Or when I say, how this flower is so ugly, the flower doesn't become ugly. It becomes ugly to me because I'm putting the label, right? So it appears to me then ugly. Yes? But from the size of this poor little thing, nothing. The same with us. So when someone says, or even when we think, oh, I'm very bad, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not this. Based on what? You're putting a label into this body, into a body that is changing, into a mind that is changing, that doesn't have this component of bad or good or beautiful or ugly. None of this is dependent on what? On the habits of the mind right now. Yes, the reason why you're putting the label in yourself as bad is because of a habit. Just as. Therefore, because it's a habit, can be eliminated, changed. Da-na-na-na. Yes, Mr. Bob.
But some things we, as consensus, believe are not good.
Yes, they are not relatively good, not good, but they are not a component of that person. Someone commits a crime. That person is a thief, right? He doesn't have the component of thief in him. There's only causes and conditions that happened, and we label that thief. That's it. The problem is that we don't see like that, so we label that this person has that component. So almost like they didn't have it until they did, and then suddenly they acquire a component in themselves. Yes, which is the label that we are giving to them. We are giving the label thief. So they acquired that. And because I believe that this is not coming from my mind, I believe that this is a component, an inherent component of that person now, I react to that. Get out of here. Doesn't make sense. Yes, good. This is what I'm talking is very dense in some ways, and it just takes a few lifetimes to understand. So don't worry. Exactly. That's exactly this. I created the cause and I'm kind of like using it, right?
When you say it's not an
Daddy,
inherent,
just one second. Can you give me some more, please? I'm so sorry. I'm very thirsty today. Thank you, sweetheart. Go on.
when you say it's not an inherent component of the person,
Mhm.
the person demonstrates.
Cause and effect. Habit.
Got it. It's not causes and conditions. It's cause and effect.
Yeah, but similar in a way. The conditions came together, the cause arise, the effect came, right? But more it is important cause and conditions, cause and effect. It's important to understand that it's an impermanent feature or an impermanent aspect, an impermanent label that is happening. That's why there's second chances, right? People can become not thieves anymore, right? it doesn't erase what they did, but they can let it go of that habit, right? And not do it again. That was the idea of prisons in the beginning, that prisons would create that, right? That possibility for people that have done something like this to learn, develop, and become better, maybe, and come back to society better. We forgot a little bit about that. No, it's a punishment now because they are bad people, always been, they always will be. Because of that belief.
That mindset.
Yeah. You had a good
kind of.
Yeah, you got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's important that we really try to work with this, contemplate, process, think, 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 think. But then this, but then that, but this, that. So we can understand the main aim of what we call, remember the left hand side, what represents in Buddhism? What represents? Huh? Wisdom. So this is the main kind of development of the main goal of the wisdom, of the development of wisdom in Buddhism, is eradicating,
Yeah.
yes, these completely mistaken views, mistaken components that we put. Yes? From superficial to the most subtle one. Yeah? Because they are, as I was saying, the moment that I believe that this person has a component of thief or bad, my selfish mind don't want to have this. So I have aversion and anger towards this person.
Could you say that again? Sorry.
If I see a person with a component of bad, and I make this component permanent, right? They are like this, and this comes from them. Nothing to do with me. Nothing to do based on a cause and condition. So that means they can be bad today, but tomorrow good. Then yesterday, nice, and then the other day caring. Because it's changing, right? So I make it permanent, bad, and I make it as if there was a component of them. I forget that I am the one projecting and inputting that, right? So when I forget that is coming from my mind, and this is completely not the truth, yes, I believe in this projection. So I believe it is coming from his side, and he's permanent like this. So then it arises in me a wish to not have these close to me. Because bad, I don't want bad. I don't want to suffer. And I believe that him, with his badness and permanently being bad, is going to make me suffer. Yes? So what do I want? Anger, or aversion, frustration, whatever comes from that. Now let's go to another one. What happens is sometimes, I see someone and I believe that, wow, this person has the component of beauty, and that beauty is coming from their side. Yes. And that beauty is going to stay. This person is always beautiful, right? So I believe in that. So because my mind wants to be happy, I crave for that. I believe that this is true. I totally forget that this is not a component of this person, that this is coming from me, and I completely forget that this is impermanent, that this is gonna no. So happiness is not gonna be there, but I create. So first I project these components. Second, I believe that they are true. Third, I grasp to them. Yes? Fourth, I get attached. Yes? Get attached. So then I want this person. And it's going to make me happy. So then we do that with everything. Everything that we like right now is that. Everything that we have aversion, that we don't like, that we find jealous, blah, 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 from this. Arise like this.
Does it,
Tell me.
will it always look like that? You know, that it's something in the external is going to make me happy, but you know better, or you could actually perceive totally differently, like this.
Very good. So what I just explained, how do we go eliminating first the attachment? Right? So how I go eliminating the attachment? By practicing generosity, positive emotions. I replaced the negative emotion, which is attachment, which is a negative emotion, with a positive one. So, yeah, at the same time, I go developing wisdom. So this view, until attachment doesn't appear anymore, because I understand that there is nothing to grasp. Yes, there's nothing to grasp. There's no beauty to grasp. Beauty is in them here. But it still appears to me beauty. Right? I see it, so I don't grasp to it, but still appears. When I become a Buddha, no appearance of the beauty. Of the beauty as a component, as an inherent component of the person. Yes? Beauty still appears. Actually, everything's gonna be beautiful, because I understand that this is just like this because of thousands of causes and conditions coming together, right? Actually, if I look at this flower, I actually gonna see that the entire universe is here. Think about it. The sun, for the sun to exist, the entire universe has to exist. Think about it. Water to exist, the entire universe has to exist. It's very beautiful. I even got emotional now. But it is. Do you understand how beautiful this is? That's what the Buddha sees. Everything. Everything is, this incredible, beautiful kindness of cause and conditions coming together. And being here, right? So we can experience this beauty of life. Yeah? But right now, life is horrible, miserable, anxious, stressful. Oh, isn't it sometimes? Sometimes, most of the times. So, very important what we are discussing here. So we can truly understand the goal of the Buddhist path and how the inner transformation is possible. And that's why we need to understand intention. So the intention is, I want to eliminate what is causing me to suffer. These wrong views, this belief of external components. Yeah? And I want to be able to see things as they are, which is going to make me then truly appreciate others. Compassion, love, kindness will be just manifesting naturally, because there's no this me, and no for me. So I'm going to see that actually, wow, others are so kind to me. Yeah. So then positivity will become spontaneous, automatic. Yeah, like this. How? Any questions? Commentaries? No?
Just absorbing it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sweetheart. So, If not, that was the idea of the class. Well, that was not the idea of the class at all. I don't know why we went over there, but we went over there. But I was going to talk about, but it's good because I said, oh, we only have 3 classes now until the end, right? We have today, we have on the 10th, and we have on the 17th. And I said, oh, so if I can try to talk about the 3 principal or the most important aspects of the Buddhist path. So normally we start with another one, which I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna finish with that. But today is the most important wisdom.
Yeah.
Most important. All of the Buddhist teachings, they said that the Buddha, he became enlightened when he was 40 and he died at 80. So for 40 years, he taught. Yeah, that was his main thing. Meditated, taught, and gave teachings for all different types of people, from the king to the beggar, especially in India at that time. There is still, but nowadays not so, but the caste systems and the lower caste, the untouchables, right? So he gave teachings to all of them. They say that he gave 84,000 types of teachings. And these types of teachings were because to help us. The biggest aim is to do what? This. Develop especially wisdom of understanding what we discussed today, how things actually exist, that they are free from these crazy components that we put in them. Yeah. And it's funny because we believe that putting the components will bring us happiness. No? So that is the mistake. So that's why it's hard for us to let it go of it. Because it's like now, the autopilot, what we believe. Okay, sweethearts. So thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you. This was
I
fabulous.
hope that it was in any way beneficial. I hope that really brought something. So we try to use what we took here to really, 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 really in our minds, create that intention in our minds. That's the most important. If the more we create, so the more we create the conditions for these intentions, yes, that like positive intention, that kind of like develop of wisdom. May I develop this wisdom, this correct understanding, so I can not only eliminate my own suffering, but I can also stop making others suffer, and I can really help others. Yes? So we need to develop that for this. So we try to then use everything that we heard, everything that we talked, everything that we discussed, everything that we asked, everything that we answered, to do that in our daily lives, to bring that to our daily lives. Yes? In everything that we do. So it's our responsibility, yeah, to do that. So thank you so much. And we don't forget that, one of the main conditions for us to be able to do is to have a place like Thubten Kalden that we can discuss, that we can have these. But also the most important and really, really crucial point is for us to have people like these perfect teachers like the Dalai Lama, upholding those understanding, not only as a knowledge base, not someone like a parrot like me, just like talking blah 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 blah, but actually that has this, that have achieved these transformations in their minds, in their intention, so we can believe it's possible and they can guide us. Yes. So really dedicate for that. Okay. And more and more. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank
Hope it
you.
was good. Good night, everybody. Thank you. See you Sunday, everybody, huh? We're gonna
Saturday.
Saturday. Oh yeah, Saturday we're gonna have full day retreat. I forgot about that. For those that come, they can come for one session, all the sessions, just morning, just evening. We're gonna do some of these these meditations. Saturday. Sunday we have the talk, okay? So which is my last day, so I hope everybody here because we're gonna have a party. We have cake as well, okay? So you come for cake. Thank you, everybody. Bye. Good night.
Thank you, Venerable.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you.
But there's no component of happiness in that.
There's no component of happiness. But if